Shalom. I'd like to start out by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Why Do the Heathen Rage? Now, they got a new setup on YouTube, but for some reason I was able to go back into the classic studio. Because the StreamYard that I got is not working. So, for some reason, the Spirit allowed me to get back into the classic studio. But the name of this one, like I said, is called Why Do the Heathen Rage? And that comes from the book of Psalms, the 2nd chapter, which, Lord's will, we're going to start off with that. I just have a couple of precepts. I don't really have a whole lot. And we'll see how long the Spirit allows it to go. But the inspiration for this video is coming through a video that Elder Apostle Tahar did called COVID-19 Testing. Esau's focus is on all of the 12 tribes. So COVID-19 testing, Esau's focus is on all the 12 tribes. So pretty much, you know, this individual that you see here, this devil here, you know, he pretty much is talking about the inner cities, I believe it was. He talked about the underprivileged or something along those lines, and then he spoke about the natives, you know, Gad and Reuben. So pretty much these are the people that Esau is focusing on, pushing this COVID-19 thing. Now the brother, the priest, up and coming elder Karataza from the Vegas camp, the head of the Vegas camp, he just put up a video. Let's see, I believe it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to see if I could find it. Yeah, it was yesterday. Yep. No, actually today he put it up, and pretty much it's a COVID-19 ritual performance at 2012 British Olympics. So this goes back to 2012, and they showed you, you know, the arena set up in the form of the coronavirus. You know, they had a bunch of children there. They had a bunch of hospital beds. You know, they had a bunch of nurses and doctors, you know, in the actual, you know, in this actual thing here. They were dancing and doing all kind of stuff, you know, dancing around, parading around, just like some of these nurses are doing the same thing in these different hospitals. Now there was a point in here, I'm not sure exactly what. Oh, right here they had Wuhan, China. You know, and they showed a Moabite lady and then the coronavirus passing behind her, and they actually put Wuhan virus on there. And then there's one where they show these creatures that are supposed to be the, you know, the infected, you know, the infection, so to speak, and they show it in the air, and they said it was airborne. You know, so these devils have been planning this, you know, for a long time. And this was the right opportunity to bring it out, you know. And now that they're pushing, you know, their agenda forward, you know, they're making everything more open for people to see. Now the out in England, I ran across this article from the Daily Beast. I don't know, it comes from from another article called Telegraph. Now I don't know how accurate this is, you know, and brothers, you know, can check it out, but pretty much it's saying coronavirus test kits have been contaminated with coronavirus, says report. And this was out in England, you know. So it's very possible that, seeing that they're pushing for the 12 tribes, because matter of fact, let's get one quick precept and then we'll get that. It's, you know, they're pushing for the 12 tribes to be tested, you know. And 2 Corinthians 2:11, says, least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And seeing that they're pushing for the 12 tribes to get vaccinated, it could very well be that those test kits can be contaminated with the virus, and when they go to test people, they'll say, okay, everybody's good, and let everybody back out, and then everybody comes down with a sudden case of this virus. That's a possibility. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen, and I'm saying this as a disclaimer. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but you're still going to have some dickheads out there say, yeah, you said that. This is a possibility that they could do that. They can make it mandatory for people to get tested and vaccinated, and actually vaccinate them with this disease, with this virus, and that's what the scriptures say, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, and who they have out in the forefront, the guard dog for Esau, the so-called black woman, the Judite woman, Now there's another chick, like the chick, I forgot her name, but the older woman that was in charge of getting Jake vaccinated with the syphilis virus back in the days in the Tuskegee experiment. They got a new face, a young so-called black woman, Judite woman, that's going to be the face of pushing forward the vaccines in the so-called black communities, which is the tribe of Judah. So all the way around, these devils are pushing their agenda, and they're pushing it mainly on Jake, especially beginning with Judah, because they know that Judah is the head tribe. All right. So now let's go to the precept in Psalms 21. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The heathen are raging because they're trying to get their agenda off the ground, and they're moving forward with it. It's mainly Esau, but you have the other nations that are also a part of this. And the people here is talking about the nation of Israel. And the people imagine a vain thing, because when you go into the Gospels, when they were about to crucify Yahushua, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was used in one of those, because the heathen they grabbed up Yahushua because Jake brought him to him to crucify him, and the Israelites, the wicked ones, imagined a vain thing because they imagined to destroy the Lord, from off the face of the earth to get rid of him. But they didn't understand that they were fulfilling prophecy. Now in these times, you're going to have Jake also that's going to help these heathens push forward their agenda to destroy Jake, because these devils know that, we are the people of the Lord, and that if he can destroy us, he can get the birthright back. But that's not going to happen. Let's go to Jeremiah 31. And let's see. Just bear with me 1 second. Let's see. All right. 35. Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. So we still see the sun, the moon, and the stars and everything shining up in the heavens. And that's why these devils are trying to destroy certain things, because they know if they can destroy it, that they can, that the Lord will have to keep his word. Thus saith the Lord, if heavens above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord power. And this is the reason why they're doing all this research and exploration and all that, because they're trying to measure out the earth, they're trying to measure out the heavens, and they know they can't do it, because they know if they do it, that the Lord will have to keep his word, because they know that the Most High is a man of his word. So let's go back to Psalms 2. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, and the anointed represents first Yahushua, and it also represents the Israelites, us. Because the word anointed means chosen. And Yahushua is the anointed. That's why it's called the so-called Jesus Christ, or Yahushua the Messiah, the Savior, the anointed. And also the nation of Israel is anointed, because the nation of Israel is the chosen of the Lord. You know, it says, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. And this is what they want to do, because they know that the kingdom that's coming, they're going to be in captivity. You know, and before I jump too far ahead, let's go real quick to let's go real quick to Jeremiah 1 and 5. I'll start at 4. Then we'll come back to Psalms, the 2nd chapter, because there's a lot to be said in the book of Psalms, the 2nd chapter. Matter of fact, let me push that forward over here. And let's go back. Jeremiah 1 and 4. Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. And this is why when we read through the book of Jeremiah, right? Let's go to Jeremiah. Let's see. Let's start at 40. When we read through the book of Jeremiah, right? There's always a hint or a time period where the Lord tells Jeremiah to prophesy certain prophecies, right? Jeremiah 44:1, the word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the Jews which dwell in the land of Egypt, which dwell at Migdol and at Tahpanhes and at Noph and in the country of Pathros, saying. So the Lord is speaking to Israelites here in the land of Egypt. And then when you go through the different chapters in Jeremiah, right, especially the latter chapters, let's see, let's get some more. Let's go to the next one. Jeremiah 46, the word of the Lord which came to Jeremiah the prophet against the Gentiles, see, against the nations, against Egypt, and against the army of Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, which was by the river Euphrates and Carchemish, which Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, smote in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah. And there are different prophecies that the Lord prophesied against these different nations. And this is the same thing we're doing today. The word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah the prophet against the Philistines before that Pharaoh smote Gaza. You know, now let's move on. Jeremiah 48:1, against Moab, thus saith the Lord, power of hosts, the God of Israel, the power of Israel. Woe unto Nebo, for it is spoiled. Kirithaim is confounded and taken. Misgab is confounded and dismayed. And as you read through, it gives you different scenarios that's going to happen to Moab. I believe there's might be. Okay, that was just dealing strictly with Moab. Okay, now let's go from there to Jeremiah 49:1 concerning the Ammonites. And matter of fact, another precept came to mind, so let me get that. It says, concerning the Ammonites, thus saith the Lord, hath Israel no sons? Hath he no heir? Why then doth their king inherit Gad, and his people dwell in his cities? So this is concerning the Ammonites, the so-called Japanese. So there's different scenarios in here. Then we jump to the 7th verse. Concerning Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white men, thus saith the Lord is of hosts. Is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? So what is, in essence, what is Jeremiah doing? He's being a prophet to Israel and to the nations to tell Israel of the good benefits that will come to them if they obey the words of the Lord, and the calamities that will fall upon them if they don't obey the words of the Lord. Then it goes on to speak against the nations and their judgments and things that are coming to them. All right, let's jump down to verse 23. Concerning Damascus, Hamath is confounded, and Arpad, for they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. There is sorrow on the sea. It cannot be quiet. You know, concerning Kedar, which was one of the sons of Ishmael, the word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah the prophet against Elam, see, in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah, saying, and he's given judgments against Elam. Now let's go to the 50th chapter. The word of the Lord spake, the word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. So, on all levels, the prophet Jeremiah, which is a representation of the rest of the prophets, this is what we would be doing. This is what a true prophet of the Lord would be doing. Let's go to Jeremiah 28:8. Let's go to that. Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. And this is what we're prophesying against these different nations. And this is a part of what we're supposed to be doing. Matthew 10 and just bear with me 1 second. And 18, and you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. These are the actual natural Gentiles. You know, so on all levels, this is what we're supposed to be doing. You know, let's get one more. Isaiah chapter 13 and 1. The burden of Babylon, which is America, Babylon the Great, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, the banner being what? The Bible. The high mountain being America, Babylon the Great. Exalt the voice unto them, meaning tell them off. Shake the hand, tell them off, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. And this is where we're coming down to the wire too, where they're going to have to go to the gates of the noble, because we've been for years given the sentences of the Lord through his prophecies of what's going to happen to America because of the wickedness that they have done. And not just to America, to the nations and the whole entire world. You see, so our message is salvation to Israel that repent, which are the elect, death to 2/3, and death to these nations. In other words, their whole society and their whole way of living and their empire is going to crumble, is going to collapse, and it's going to be finished, it's going to be done. All right, so now let's go to Lamentations 1, and let's see what we can find in here. Is it no, I'm sorry, not Lamentations, Amos. Got the wrong book. Amos chapter 1 and 3. See, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Damascus, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have threshed Gilead with threshing instruments of iron. All right, jumping down. This is Gaza, right? Let's see what else we got. Transgressions of Tyrus. All right, 11. Thus saith the Lord. This is the most important. For 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity. They did that during the time of the Babylonian Empire, and they also doing it today. And his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Bozrah. This is the children of Ammon. And when we go to the next chapter, the 2nd chapter, the transgressions of Moab, you know, then you got the transgressions of Judah, the transgressions of Israel, so on and so forth. Got the Amorites and the Egyptians. So on all levels, we're supposed to be prophesying against these nations, because they're the ones that got together in a coup with Israelites. Matter of fact, with Israelites, Salakia, with Israelites, to help with this help these nations advance, in their agenda. This is the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men. See? So these wicked men, these sellouts, these sambos that are fighting against us on the side of Esau, who persuaded many. And that's what the Lord said, that they that consent unto them shall be had in derision, because they will be destroyed. Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. See? So these are the jakes that are making covenants or agreements with the heathen. And the Lord already told us not to make any covenant with these heathens. Let's go to Exodus 23 and 32. It says, thou shalt make no covenants with them, nor with their gods. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee. And by you helping Esau push forward his agenda, you're pretty much serving their gods, because eventually everyone in this society is going to have to be what? Have to be chipped, which is the mark of the beast, in order to function in this society, in order to function in this world. And this is why you have all these 5G towers going up, to make it easier for their systems to work. You see? So going back, it says, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. So this was a device that they devised in their mind. And they sat down in a council. They talked about it. And then they went where? They went to the king. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the custom of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant. And you have the same thing today. You have Israelites out there that are making a covenant with this devil. They are making agreements with this devil because they're keeping him propped up, because they don't want to fall from that comfort zone, especially a lot of those that work for the state, you know, that have good paying jobs, that have very good benefits, you know, that got that nest egg, that got homes, that got, you know, cars, got nice things. They don't want to give that up, and join themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. And that's what they're doing. They're sold to do mischief. And what they're doing is they're helping this devil to realize and to push forward his agenda. But what's going to happen is they're going to lose miserably. Now let's jump down to the 41st verse. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. So they've tried this many times, of pushing this one world order, this one world government, you know, and they're doing it right now at a higher scale, because now they've got the whole planet in their hand, because the Lord gave it into their hands. You know, so now we're witnessing them pushing the new world order around the globe, the whole four corners of the earth. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. So back then, that was the Hellenization going on, that these nations gave credence to the king. It was mainly the heads of these nations that pushed it upon their people to become Hellenized. Then after the Hellenization period came what? The Romanization period. Now today we're in the Americanization period. And all these same nations, which are the same ones reincarnated back, especially the kings among them, are working with them. These are those great merchants and the great men and the kings of the earth, as the scriptures speak about. And they're all in cahoots with Esau. Matter of fact, let's go to that. Kings of the earth. I know it's in Revelation 18, but I'm just trying to get the point. Fornication. All right, let's just read a few of these. Revelation 18:3. It says, matter of fact, let me start at Revelation 17:18. And the woman which thou sawest, that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. This is America. And the kings of the earth represent what? The different leaders among these nations. Verse 3. Revelation 18:3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of a fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, because they're in bed with her, they're in cahoots with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. What else? This does not match the Roman Catholic Church. This doesn't match them, because the nations are not getting rich off of the Roman Catholic Church. They're getting rich off of America. It says in the king, verse 9, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Why? Because they won't be able to make any more money off of this hoe. This is a very lucrative hoe for these nations now, because they can sell, they can produce their wares in their countries at a very cheap price and sell them over here and what's the word I'm looking for? Intensify their investments, you know, by 10s, by 20 times, or by 100 times. All right. So these kings of the earth are talking about these different nations. So even back then, during the time of the Greek Empire, these heathens were in cahoots with the king of Greece. The Hellenization period. It says, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion. So you had Israelites that were down with this. And you best believe that this new world order is nothing more than a religion. The religion of the so-called elites. That's why they have a priesthood. That's why they have witches and warlocks. That's why they have, tenets. They have rules. They have regulations. And this microchip is going to be the idol, which is going to make you subject to the international bankers. He's going to make you their slaves. And this is what they want. Because that mark of the beast is nothing more, which is the microchip, is nothing more than a modern day all that they're putting in people. And we know when we go back into the law that the all, once it was bored in the man's ear, they became a servant for life to their master. And these devils know that. They know the history. They do the research. But you got the naysayers out there that say, no, this ain't, that ain't the mark of the beast, because they're ignorant. They're ignorant. So it says, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. You see? And that's why you have many Israelites that went off, and you have that today. You have many Israelites today that are doing the same exact things. And when you pushing the agenda of this devil to push it forward, when you have these guard dogs, out there that are on the front lines helping this devil push forward his agenda, these are the same ones that was back during the Greek Empire, during the Roman Empire, that were rubbing elbows with the Romans, with them Edomites back then, to help destroy Jake and keep Jake down and keep them in subjection. Because all you got to do, you heard the woman, she was breaking it down. She said, all you got to do is give the black woman some power, and a little title or a certificate of some sort, and she will just take that to the stratosphere. You heard what she said. She'll have a foot on the so-called black man's neck, which is a Judite man, and this reigns true for the other tribes too. But the main problem that happens is with Judah, the so-called Negros. Why? Because they are the head tribe. They are the biggest threat. And then the rest of the tribes are a threat too, because the rest of the tribes follow right behind Judah. All right. So now let's go from there to Psalms 83:1, a song of or Psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silence. Why? Because here it is. All of this turmoil is going on. All of this, all of these things that these devils are doing, these snares and these traps that they're setting up to destroy us, they're moving forward with it. The reason why Jake is sick, of course they eat that abomination of shrimp, lobster, pork, and all that. But a lot of the foods that are out there today are processed foods that have literally no fiber in it, have no really nutritional values except for it just tastes good. And they're systematically breaking down Jake's system, the colons and the large intestines and the small intestines and the rectum and all that. It's destroying us, causing Alzheimer's, causing a lot of cells and different things in the body to be blocked so that you can't get the benefits and the nutrients of different vitamins and minerals to help build the cells, to help keep the body strong. And then releasing shit out into the air, into the water, and through these different vaccines to destroy Jake. This is part of that great insurrection against those that fear the Lord. It says, O Most High, hold not thy peace and be not still, O power. Yeah, Lord, open up on these devils. Let them do what they got to do. Push them, make them do what they got to do, because he's the one in control, so that the Most High can step in and check them. That's why we hope and pray that this thing keeps escalating, just to get it over with. Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. It's going to be trying. It's going to be very uncomfortable. But you know what? Once it's finished, it's finished. Once this devil makes his move, it's done. It's finished, because then the Most High steps in, and after that, the kingdom. So let them do what they got to do so that the Most High can do what he got to do. Which is the Most High working on the left hand anyway. But the point is, let them do what they got to do. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. Now, what is a tumult? A tumult is like a great disturbance. Right? Let's go to tumult. Hamah. to murmur, growl, roar, cry aloud, mourn, rage. And that's what they're doing. They're raging. Matter of fact, I'm not sure if that's going to be in here. Rage. Well, the word rage here is ragash, which is to be in a tumult or commotion. Same thing, to conspire, plot. And they're conspiring. To what? To destroy the people of the Lord. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine the vain thing? Here it is, these heathen are raging to destroy us, and you Israelites out there are helping them against your own people. You're evil, man. You're wicked. And the Most High is going to destroy you. So it says to growl, to murmur, or here we go, sound, make noise, tumult, be clamorous, be disquieted, be loud, be moved, to trouble. Be troubled, be in an uproar. And that's the uproar. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. They make an uproar. And what is the uproar? The uproar is to come against us, to destroy us. And they that hate thee have lifted up their head, because these nations don't love the Most High. Because it's not in their DNA, it's not in their makeup to love the Most High. That's why they can't keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. And this is why in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to have to come to us, because they're going to see the benefit and how great we are and how established we are. And they're going to be forced to come to us, because if they don't, they're not going to be able to eat. See, Esau's doing it on the left-hand side, and the kingdom is going to be on the right-hand side. Esau wants to put a chip in people, and if you don't comply, they're going to turn your chip off, so you can't buy or sell or do anything. You can't survive. You can't work, nothing. In the kingdom of heaven, if these nations don't comply, they're not going to get the rain. The Lord's going to withhold rain. He's going to give us that power to be able to withhold rain from their lands, so they can't get their crops. But that's going to be on the right-hand side, because we're not going to be chipping them. We're not going to be putting anything in them. They're just going to be subservient, and they're going to want to learn. And things, because they know that things are going to be fair. And there's going to, Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Wa Yasha'Allah once again, like they did in the past. And say, what one nation is so great as these people that have the Most High so near unto them? It has laws and such wisdom as they do. We're going back to that. I don't know about you, but I'm sick of this fucking place. You know? This place has nothing for us. In this place, all we are is just a number. We're not even a face. We're not even a name. We're just a fucking number. We're just barely existing. You know? But in the kingdom, we will be lauded. We will be put back up on the pedestal. You know? So they that hate thee have lifted up their head. So these heathens that hate us and that hate the Most High, they've lifted up their head, because they're in power now. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And this crafty counsel comes in way of these different contracts that they set up, you know, to further entangle you into this society through debt, you know, and eventually through having to take these different vaccines and be subject to these devils in order to be able to survive, in order to be able to work. You know? That's why the sooner they go down, the better. And the word there is irum, which is crafty, right? To be subtle. And the word subtle, let's look up this word subtle. It says, especially of a change or distinction, so delicate or precise as to be difficult to analyze or describe. Right, because they are very subtle. They're very, like the way they come and push their agenda on you is so smooth. It's like a smooth criminal type shit. That be, you know, you one moment you're feeling secure, the next minute before you know it, you all caught up in the sauce, so to speak. You know, you all messed up. It says making use of clever and indirect methods to achieve something. That ain't nothing but the devil that the Bible speaks of. These Edomites. Making use of clever and indirect methods to achieve something, because they never come straightforward. But they'll come, you know, so-called humble, pseudo-humble, you know, acting like you know, like they're cool. You know, let's go to Psalms. And that's what the scriptures say, never trust thine enemy. Psalms 55:20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. See? So you make a covenant with this devil. That's why the Lord said not to make any covenants with the heathen that are round about. Because you make an agreement with especially these devils, and what happens? They never keep their end of the bargain. You have to keep your end of the bargain, but they don't have to. It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. That's that slickness, the subtlety, the indirect methods that they use to deceive the people. But war was in his heart, because the ultimate that's in his mind is to chip the whole world, to put everyone into subjection, to make everyone a permanent slave. But he's not coming out and saying that. But indirectly they are. You know? And it's like a gradual thing. Gradualism. That they constantly impress upon the mind. That's the word inculcate. Inculcate means to impress upon the mind by constant repetition. Just like the movie They Live. You saw all the billboards: consume, obey, this, that, the other. What do you see now? Stay home, stay safe. You go out on a trail or you go to a park or something, you keep seeing, social distancing. Keep your 6 feet. Remember this, remember this 6, 20, 100 or some shit like that. I forget the breakdown. 6 feet, something. And then the other one is if your fever is more than 104, stay home. So they're constantly programming people by a constant repetition. It's a hypnosis through their witchcraft. Just like when you watch the Pope, when they speak, they throw their hands up, they throw in different hand gestures, and they're pretty much enchanting the crowd. That's what Esau's doing with his signs, with his posts. Got people spreading the word out there. So much so that people are afraid to come with closer than 6 feet. You see people walking. It's almost like they got their back up against the shelf and want you to put your back against the other shelf. Okay, same time. Come on, let's go. Come on, just be careful. Oh, you get a little too close. Watch out. It's a programming that's going on, but it's being done very subtly. So much so that people now are bugged the hell out after about a month. But war was in his heart. His words were smooth, softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords, because ultimately what they want is this new world order. You read Psalms the 10th chapter, Psalms the 64th chapter. It goes into the secret counsel of the wicked. You go into Job the 5th chapter, it tells you that the Most High is going to disappoint his devices. He's going to disappoint this enterprise. And that's the moment we're waiting for. But they have to push it all away until they're about to eat. And once the meal is ready, so to speak, and they cut into that steak or whatever, and they got it on the fork and about to put it into their mouth, and their glands are salivating, squirting all over the place, and just before they get it to their teeth, bam, here comes the Most High to knock them down. That's what we're waiting for. All right, so it says to be shrewd. Shrewd. Let's look up this word, shrewd. Let me get rid of this one. Shrewd. It says having or showing sharp powers of judgment. Astute. They're very astute. And what did the scripture say in Genesis 3? I believe somebody just put it on the comment board. That the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Yep, I caught it. I just caught it out the peripheral. The priest out there and the head of the Vegas camp, Karatazar, Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord power had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, had the Most High said, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden. So what did he do? He indirectly, smoothly, said something to her in the form of a question. And what was her response back? She said, no, we could eat it, but it's just the tree of garden of knowledge. We can't eat that because then we'll die. Then he came back with his shrewdness, his subtlety. He said, no, you're not going to die. You'll be like gods, which he was right about the part about being gods, no good and evil. But he lied about the part of not dying, because from that moment they died. That's a good one too, Elder Manatazakba. 2 Corinthians 11:4. For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or if you receive another spirit which you have not received, or another gospel which you have not received, you might well bear with him. And the one, the third verse, here we go. But I fear lest by any means, as a serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, see? So your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Yahushua. So man, woo. All right, so now let's go back. Be crafty. Let's look up crafty now. Crafty. Clever at achieving one's aims by indirect or deceitful methods. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's speaking about the so-called white men, the Edomites. The devil that the Bible speaks of. All right? And if you can't see that, then there's something wrong with you. You know, that means the Lord didn't give you the oil. It says of involving or relating to the making of that's going into something else. But clever at achieving one's aims by indirect or deceitful methods. All right, let's see. Beware, take crafty counsel, be prudent, because they are very wise, but they're wise what? On the left-hand side. And we know the scripture say that the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. To be crafty, be subtle. All right. So they're very crafty because they know how to do things and say things in an indirect way to get you to comply to them. And most people out here, especially Jake, are not privy to what's going on. So what's going to happen? They want those benefits. They want those goodies. You know, so what they're going to comply. Anything that they do, they're going to comply. I believe Tommy Sotomayor just did a video, you know, the big mess that happened out there with those stimulus checks. You know, and you had Jakes gathering around. You know they're going to gather around for that. But they know that's going to be nothing but chaos. How you know? Because you see them big rhinoceroses, you know, on Black Friday, bumping into each other, running each other over, trampling over, stampeding over them. Not even trampling, stampeding over each other. Like fucking beasts. To get a goddamn TV or whatever the case may be. For a little cheaper. So what the hell you think they're going to do with that stimulus check? They're going to trample each other. It says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? The Israelites. And they know this. They know that we are the hidden ones. They know that we are the Israelites. Let's see, it says hidden ones. Tazapan. To hide treasure. See, that's that hidden treasure. Did not the Lord said that you are peculiar treasure unto him? That we are peculiar treasure unto him? Treasure or store up. We are the treasure that's being stored up in the chest of the Lord. That's why now he's making his fair jewels. And the only one that's going to get it, the only ones that's going to get it is who? The elect at this time. And then the rest will come back in the kingdom. To hide treasure up. To lie hidden, lurk, to be hidden, be stored up, to hide from discovery. And that's why, because, you know, when you tell Esau that we are the Israelites, they look at us with disgust and disdain. Because this, how dare you? Everyone knows that the Israelites were white. Oh, they do? Well, the scriptures say different. You know, all of the curses that fell upon, you know, the Israelites does not fit you so-called white people, you Edomites. But that idea has been pushed out there so long that the so-called white man is God, that he's so-called Jesus Christ and the angels and the Israelites, that it's thought insanity for a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian to even claim to be an Israelite. Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. And this is what they want. They want us to be cut off from being a nation. They don't want us to exist anymore. And the main thing is that they want us to be broken apart. Because, let's read the next part. It says that the name, listen good, that the name of Israel, not Israel, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Now, is the name Israel still in remembrance out there? Yes. You still have the land of Israel called the land of Israel. You could still go on, you could type in a map of the land of Israel. It's going to give you that. You could see the name Israel all throughout the Bible. You see Israel all over the place. But the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, meaning no more on the people of the Lord. because we lost that. You know. But in the land of our captivity, we're getting that back into our remembrance from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai through his prophets. So we can once again claim and beg and plead and call upon our power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So it says, for they have consulted together with one consent. See, it's one consent. It's a one world establishment. The same way we just read earlier about Antiochus Epiphanes and how those heathens came to him. The same way we read in the book of Revelation how these same kings, which are the same ones in the reincarnation, are going and consenting and giving their power over to what? To the great whore, to Babylon the Great. Because it's the same thing done over again. The Greeks, the Romans, America, same thing. And this is their last hurrah. So they all these heathens have come together with one consent to cut us off from being a nation, to stop us from the remembrance of who we are. It says they are confederate one against another, and the word confederate means with federation, meaning they're together as one. Barayath, which is a covenant, they're in agreement. Covenant, alliance, pledge, see? So they're in an agreement among each other. And that's why none of these leaders of these other nations are going to ever come out and say that we are the Israelites, because they're under contract. Then it goes into what? The tabernacles of Edom. First in line are the Edomites, the so-called white men. And the scriptures say that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And we're at the end of the world. There's no doubt about that. We're at the end of the world. People can see the signs, the ones whose eyes are open. So who's the ones that are ruling today? The so-called white men. Do they call themselves Edomites? No. But by process of elimination, we know that they're the Edomites. Why? Many other reasons, but they are the last rulers. They are the ones in charge right now. They are the ones who the earth is given into the hands of. And we read that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who controls the earth? The wicked. Who's that? The so-called white men. They're the Edomites. Then you go to Malachi, the first chapter, and it tells you that the Edomites are the border of wickedness. So you put it all together, they are the sons and the daughters of Satan, the spiritual demon Satan. They are the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan on earth. And the spiritual demon Satan works for the Most High. He's one of the Most High's sons. How about that? It says the Edomites, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, which are who? The so-called Arabs. Of Moab, the so-called Chinese, and the Hagarenes, which are Hamites. You know, you could throw, because these are, I believe these are the descendants of Abraham. Well, Hagarenes, they could be, those are Hamites. You know, these are Hamites also. You may have Ishmaelites among them, because remember, on all those lands from so-called Africa all the way up until Mesopotamia, you know, Iraq and all that, you had Hamites there. You had all different nations, Ishmaelites. It says Gebal and Ammon, which are the Ammonites are so-called Japanese, and Amalek, which is the head of all Edomites, these so-called Jews. That's the Amalekites. The Philistines, which are also Hamites, so-called Egyptians. Mitzrayim, with the inhabitants of Tyre, which were the inhabitants of Tyre were Canaanites at one time. You know, today the people that are inhabiting those lands there on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea, they're mostly Arabs. Ashur, which are the Assyrians, also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah. Who are the children of Lot? Moab and Ammon. You know, so all of these nations are in cahoots with Esau to destroy us. And this is why we read here, let's read this again, Psalm 2:1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Because Esau and the heathen, they're raging, trying to destroy us. And you have Jakes that are giving heed unto them and helping them. And that's what the scriptures say, that they that help them shall be had in derision. It says the kings of the earth. See, the kings of the earth. That's all these different nations. Set themselves. Meaning they've posted up. They're posted up so you can understand. And the rulers take counsel together. So all of these heathens, all of these nations, all of these leaders, they're all taking the counsel together against the Lord. And we read in Psalms 83 a number or a list of those heathens against the Lord, against the Most High, because they don't want Yahweh's kingdom to be established. They don't want Yahweh's kingdom to be established. They don't want Yeshua kingdom to be established on the earth. Against the Lord and against his anointed, saying. And that's why they're trying to get ready to fight against Yahweh. And they're looking for ways to constantly beat us down and destroy us. And that's why they got Jake committing adultery and being homosexuals and lesbians and laying down with animals, and eating these bad foods, these abominable foods, so that they can be destroyed, so the Lord can push them away. But they don't understand that the Most High, Yahweh, has an elect among the nation of Israel. He ain't looking for all of Israel right now. He's just looking for the elect. It says, let us break their bands asunder. Why? Because they know that eventually we're going to get the upper hand. And we're going to have the rule. And they're going to be tributary and so in subjection unto us. And cast away their cords from us. Because they know that that is all right. That's what the scriptures say, that the Lord made the world for our sakes. It says, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. Because the Most High is sitting up there. So look at these simple-minded, stupid, bird-brained Edomites and these other heathens. It says, the Lord shall have them in derision. And this is what's happening right now. You see the madness? Here it is. They have the book. They know that they're not going to win. They know that they're the Edomites. They know that they're doing all of this. They know they're going to be destroyed, but they're still valiantly trying to put it together. That's what the Lord said, that he shall have them in derision. That's something, man. When you know that you can't win a fight, but you're still trying anyway. And that's why at the end, the Lord's going to put the spirit on the military men to fight against Yahushua, so that Yahushua can eviscerate them, turn them into angel dust. Inside joke. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath. See? And how is the Lord going to speak unto them in his wrath? With the missiles and the lasers from the chariots. And vex them in his sore displeasure. And what is his sore displeasure? His sore displeasure is those missiles. Let's go. The missiles and the lasers. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 8. It says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, unto the day that I rise up to the prey. Because we have to wait for the Most High to rise up against Esau and the other nations. It says, for my determination is to gather the nations, which we see that happening now, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation. And what is the Lord's indignation? His righteous anger, which comes by way of these missiles and by way of the lasers from the chariots. Even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So the Most High is going to make a good riddance, a speedy riddance of Esau's kingdom. Okay, so let's go back to Psalms 2 and 6. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion, which is Yahushai. I will declare the decree, the Lord hath said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. So Yahushai is the son of the Most High Yahweh. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance. So this is a prayer that Yahushai asks for the heathen, for his inheritance. Because he's going to get the inheritance of the heathens, as a possession. Let's go real quick to Revelation 2 and 25. But that which you have already, hold fast till I come, which is what? This word. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end. See? To him will I give power over the nations. And the power that he's going to give us over the nations is the same power that he was given over the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. See? And I will give him the morning star. So going back to Psalms 2 and 8, Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession, because the world was created for our sakes. So everything is technically ours. Although the nations, when the kingdom is established, they're going to have their own lands. They're going to be able to deal among themselves, but they're still going to be tributary to us. It says, thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. We just read that in Revelation 2. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. That doesn't seem like anything nice. Which shows you that they're going to have to be in subjection, or they're going to get cracked in the skull. But they still have to pay for the shit that they did to us. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and you perish from the way. And when his wrath is kindled but a little. That's why Yahweh said, I am come to send fire on earth, and what will I, if it be already kindled? Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. So now for the last precept, Psalms 149:5, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds, which is the Israelites. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, which is the word. And a two-edged sword in their hand, which is what? A sword for what? For punishment, for judgment. To execute, getting a little ahead of myself. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. Why? Because these things are written. And this is why these wacky-tacky Christians do not want to deal with the scriptures. They want to deal with dogma. They want to argue who translated the Bible. What's the best translation? You know? They want to argue about that the Lord came to bring salvation. But they're trying to argue that it's for the world. It's not for the world. It's only for the nation of Israel. But they don't want to accept that. It says to bind their kings with chains, see? And their nobles with fetters of iron. And this is them going into captivity, into slavery. Matter of fact, get one more before we close out. Let's go back. It says to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, meaning all of the nobility, so-called nobility among Esau and the nations, and put them in chains and put them in fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written, which we're reading about it right here. And there's many other scriptures where we can read the judgment. This honor have all his saints, praise ye the Lord. So all Israel is going to have the honor of putting these nations into captivity. And these devils know that. That's why they make movies like Planet of the Apes, the whole series. And the whole series is what? Esau being slaves, being in the bottom, being wearing loincloth, being incarcerated, being slaves. And the so-called monkeys and apes and all that were the Israelites governing over them. These devils know what the deal is. And they've been known this. You know? Isaiah 24 and 21. Wow. Yeah, 21. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, which are who? These nations, beginning with Esau, their so-called nobles, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, because they're going to be the first to taste of slavery. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit. Why? Because they're going to be put in chains. They're going to go from riches to rags, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. See? So they're going to be locked up, and they're going to be visited. And what is going to be the visitation? The visitation is going to be to put them to work. And one of the very first things they're going to be doing is one group is going to be going around putting up signs where the dead bodies are. The other group is going to come through, dig graves, and bury those dead, wherever they may be. That's going to be the very first job. And it's going to be continual employment, as it says in Ezekiel, the 39th chapter. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, meaning the knowledge and wisdom of Esau is going to be confounded. The knowledge and wisdom of these nations is going to be confounded. Their sun is going down. Their wisdom is going down. And Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Yasha'Allah, is going to come up. When the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem before his ancients gloriously. Yeah, because there's going to be no more, same-sex marriage, and all that other abominations. There's going to be no more all different types of religions, But you can worship whatever you want to worship. You can do whatever you want to do. You can eat whatever you want to eat. That's going to be out of the window. That's going to be done and gone. You know, no more of that bullshit. So this is going to be a kingdom run under a spiritual, righteous vibration. Once again. Barakatah Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for that. So with that, I pray that you brothers have been edified. And to the next time I say, Shalom. Perish from the way. And when his wrath is kindled but a little. That's why Yahushua said, I am come to send fire on earth, and what will I? If it be already kindled. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. So now for the last precept, Psalms 149:5, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds, which is the Israelites. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, which is the word, and a two-edged sword in their hand, which is what? A sword for what?